That would be nice, Lori.
Say, are you two free on Friday?
No, Robin, are we free on Friday?
No. We were hoping you would share lunch with your friends.
Well, Eddie is a vegetarian, so I can't invite him.
Well, you could invite Louise.
You know, I think I will.
That's... All right, well, congratulations, Lori.
Congratulations, Lori.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
Diamonds in the sunset, now your time has come.
All right, 9 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. You all know, if you're a regular listener, that Robin and I speak to authors all the time, and it's kind of like with music. You know, some songs hit me, and some songs they're good. You know they're good, but they don't hit me. This story really hit me. I just love the way it's written, and it's just, oh my gosh, there's so much in this book. The book is called The Women in the Castle. It's a novel, but it's partly inspired by a true story, and the true story is that of the family history of our guest who wrote the book. Jessica Shattuck is on the phone. I'm probably mispronouncing her name. I should have asked off the air. She's an award-winning author, a contributor to The New Yorker, Glamour Magazine, Mother Jones, Wired, The Believer, The New York Times. She has many fans, and she has at least two more. Robin and I both are fans. Just love this book. Jessica Shattuck. Good morning, Jessica. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on your show.
I love everything about this book. Everything. Even the stuff that makes you on the edge of your seat. I love everything about this book.
Thank you. That is high praise. I appreciate it.
I love the visual that you paint so that we can sort of see a movie in our mind, if you know. I'm sure people have told you that before. So, good morning.
Good morning, yeah.
Where are you right now? Where are you calling from?
I am calling from Brookline, Massachusetts, where I live.
All right. Brooklyn, Massachusetts. I thought you were going to say Brooklyn, New York. Usually when people mean Brooklyn, New York, they don't say the state. They just say Brooklyn. I'm calling from Brooklyn.
Right. No, Brookline is not that famous yet. We still have to say our state.
Well, maybe they need a famous author there, and I'm sure you fit the bill. Well, so tell me, how much of this is the history, is the true history?
Well, I'd say the setting and the themes and some of the inspirations for the characters are certainly based in my family history. The actual story and the plot as it unfolds is totally fictional. I tried to be very accurate about times and dates and places and incidents and things that were really happening in Germany, but I let my imagination go when it came to actually creating the characters and their stories. Did
the castle itself in some way stimulate your imagination?
Yeah, definitely. I think that this idea kind of came to me of these women from various different backdrops and various different political experiences and war experiences of Germany at that time, coming together and living in a kind of abandoned, beautiful, grand, but at the same time no running water, no electricity, this sort of isolated spot on a hill kind of came to my imagination, and it was exciting to me, and I like the idea of throwing these women together and kind of against each other to reckon with their own pasts and their own secrets.
I think there's a lot we have to ask you, but I wanted to, because of the fact that we're only on with you a short time, I wanted you, for the listeners, please, to tell the thumbnail sketch of the story, the movie trailer version.
Okay, the movie trailer version is basically three widows of the resistance, which was the plot to assassinate Hitler in July 20th, 1944. It was a failed plot, and these are widows of men who were executed for their varying roles in that plot. They come together to live in this abandoned castle and try to raise their families and get through the immediate years after the war, which were years of great deprivation and confusion and very extreme conditions in Germany. They come together as relative strangers and obviously get to know each other very well, uncover various different secrets in their past, and face a lot of extreme challenges.
It seemed that your grandfather played a very important role in your memory as your in your decisiveness to write the novel.
Yeah, well, even more than my grandfather, actually, my grandmother was someone I was very close with. I grew up, my mother was German, was born in 1943 in Germany, and went there. And I used to go there as a child to visit her parents when I was little. We'd go in the summer. And I grew up hearing all these really intense stories of those post-war years, and I was very close with my grandmother. And my mother passed away when I was 15, and left me with so many questions, both about her own life and what her childhood had been like, but also about what her parents had done in the war, what their lives had been like, and wishing I could talk to her. I instead went and spent a summer interviewing my grandmother, and that was a very intense experience for me, and definitely formed the sort of the foundation for this book, although I didn't end up actually writing this book until much later when I was a mother of my own myself, because I think I wasn't quite ready to take on these difficult subjects.
Oh, wow.
When I spent that time talking with my grandmother, but I took a lot of notes, and those conversations were very large in my mind.
You could have written a book that was completely true. Your family history could have been documented in the book. Was the writer in you telling you that you could embellish the story and make it more, readable for the rest of us?
Well, as a reader, I love fiction. That's what I read. I mean, I read a lot of nonfiction to research this book, but generally I'm drawn to fiction, and it's what speaks to me, and it's always what I've wanted to write. So it actually, honestly, never occurred to me to write this as nonfiction. It was from the start a story that I wanted to get at certain kinds of truths that I think are more easily reached through writing fiction than nonfiction in a certain way.
And because it's set in the Bavarian castle, the American military was also involved in your book.
Yes, right. It's set in the American occupation zone, so there are American soldiers who feature in the book, and there's also a character who is held in one of the camps for enemy combatants at the end of the war. He is an ex-Nazi Wehrmacht soldier, and he ends up playing a fairly extreme or fairly large role in the plot. But he spends the first part of his book living in an American military camp.
The castle in Disney World, I heard, is based on an actual German castle. Just a little side note. I don't know if you ever heard.
Neuschwanstein, yes.
Oh, you know
yes,
about it? Okay.
I've heard that too. I know it. Yep.
Oh, really? What's it called? What's the actual castle called?
I think it's based on Neuschwanstein, which is this big, famous, crazy castle that's much, much grander and more elegant than the castle in my book, which I pictured being a little more. I don't know, a little smaller for one thing.
There might be a personal reason why I like this also. My mother was born in Germany. I've never been there, and she left when she was 3. But I've always wanted to see the town. It's a town called Velbert, and nobody seems to know much about it. And even Google Street View didn't allow the car to go through that town, apparently. So I can't even visit.
Where is it? What part of Germany?
It's like central west, like the western part, like central.
Yeah.
I think they call it Bavarian. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or Rhineland or something.
Yeah.
I'm confused with what they call it.
The Rhineland, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what my grandmother used to call it. I have a copy of The Women in the Castle by Jessica. How do you say your last name, Jessica? Shattuck?
Shattuck. You pronounced it perfectly.
Call me if you want the copy that was sent to me, and the rest of us have to go buy it. Jessica has a website. It's her name, jessicashattuck.com, and I'm sure Amazon and all the other booksellers have it. Thank you so much for being on the air with us today, Jessica.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, this is WOCA Ocala.
Fox News Alert. I'm Lillian Wu. Breaking news on an investigation into Russian interference in our election. The House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence Chairman Devin Nunes has just announced he'll be stepping aside as far as that investigation is concerned, despite what